Mr. Minister, I looked at your own ministry's documentation. A UGC survey of 1471 colleges and 11 universities have found that 73% of the colleges and 68% of the universities have a quality that the HRD considers to be medium or low quality. Yet we are spending in the latest budget of this government just 1.2% of our GDP on higher education. Frankly, even South Korea, which is not far away, spends 2.4%, which double of what we are spending. Since we are talking about the NITs, let me stress that a working paper on the quality of engineering education in BRICS countries has been released. As you know, India is now going to host the BRICS summit and all the BRICS conferences this year. According to that, average spending per year in engineering education is the lowest in India among the BRICS countries. We are spending $1,300 a year. China spends $4,300 a year and Brazil spends $5,000 a year. Even our fellow BRICS members' companions in the developing world are leaving us behind. They have policies that focus rightly on quality and not just quantity. While we are on BRICS, let me mention that in terms of higher education and training, Russia is 47th amongst the 148 countries surveyed in the world. We are ranked only at 91. We don't even have complete campuses like the NIT that we are just approving today. It is no wonder that statistics are loaded against us. Though I am not going to speak on the next bill on the IITs, let me again remind you about the Kakodar committee reforms. Really, we ought to take those into account and implement them. They have been sitting with your government for 2 years on the IITs. In global ranking, we know our IITs will feature in the top 200. When we come to the NITs, they don't feature anywhere in the top 500. Why is this the case? Why is it that we are so insistent on increasing the numbers of our institutions without a corresponding interest in ensuring that we improve the quality of our institutions? Government can exploit sheer numbers for public relations purposes. But what about the hundreds of students who enter these institutions each year in the hope of getting a decent education but are told upon graduation that they are unemployable and they need to be trained all over again? The quantum of support that our government is granting to higher education institutions is simply insignificant in comparison to funding that other countries and other governments are giving. I think Harvard University's research and development funds alone exceed that of the entire HRD budget that the Honorable Finance Minister has given. All the UGC, all the agencies, including the UGC put together, will come under one university in America. There are, of course, structural and financial differences between us and the Harvard. I am not comparing them, but the point is this: can we make fuller, better, and wiser use of our resources instead of fragmenting them by spreading them right across this horizon of mediocrity that I described? We should be building big ships that can withstand the ocean and not boats that will capsize at the first wave. You mentioned, Mr. Minister, in your remarks the importance of innovation. I agree with you 100%. When I was there, I would make the same point. But look at what we are doing. India today has 17% of the world's brains because we have 17% of the world's people. But we are only producing 3.5% of the world's global research output. There is something wrong there. What are we doing to tap the possibilities of industry academia collaboration? My government had accepted the report given by Shri Narayan Murthy to promote more academia industry interface. I would suggest that we could allow companies to come directly to our IITs and NITs and say that here is a research project, and if you have students who are prepared to research on this, whatever comes up, we will have an agreement. We will innovate something together, and NIT can share the profits with the private companies. It happens very commonly in the West, but we need a policy decision from you that will allow the NITs and other institutions to have this kind of relationship with companies. Similarly, why can we not get more private sector money into this? You admit that you don't have enough money in your budget. Look at the OECD countries. About 75% of research and development funding in the OECD countries comes from the private sector.